the trans. All right, VC, it's Brian from Cosmic Vinyl, and you know why it's called Cosmic Vinyl, because I'm out there, way out there. Anyway, I missed you guys, man. I know it's been a little while since I've thrown together a video, but believe it or not, I have tried to film this video, this Blue Oyster Cult artist spotlight video, and I have had a hell of a time. I've had the phone break down on me a couple times, and just all kinds of shit. So I'm gonna slam right into this right now before anything else goes bad. So I've been promising for a few videos that I was gonna do this Blue Oyster Cult artist spotlight video. It's one of my favorite bands. It has been since I was in high school. I'm obviously been out of high school for a long time. So I've been a fan of this band for quite some time. I know a little bit about it, but it doesn't hurt to dive in, do a little research. So thought I'd share a little bit about my favorite band. So without any further ado, Blue Oyster Cult. They were formed in 1967. They were at first they were kind of their sound was kind of a psychedelic sound. Pre-hard rock kind of sound. Their biggest hits obviously are Don't Fear the Reaper, Burning for You, Godzilla. I'm sure you've heard at least one or two of those songs. They've sold over 24 million records worldwide, 7 million here in the good old US of A. On the early days of MTV, when they launched in '81, Blue Oyster Cult had Burnin' For You video in pretty heavy rotation at the beginning. Of course, MTV was looking for any bands to put videos on, so there was a lot of turnover. I think Rod Stewart had about 20 videos in the early rotation. So yeah, I feel like if Blue Oyster Cult would have played their cards right, they could have used MTV as a real selling point for them. I mean, they're a great visual band, a great live band. I feel like they could have used MTV and really put some money behind some video. I think they probably could have been even more famous than they were. The longest lasting and most commercial lineup was Donald Buck Dharma Rosser on lead guitar and vocals, Eric Bloom on vocals and stun guitar or rhythm guitar. He did some keyboard work and some synthesizer work as well. Alan Lanier was keys, the main keyboardist, rhythm guitar, backing vocals. And the Bouchard brothers, Joe Bouchard on bass and Albert Bouchard on drums. So current lineup still has Buck Dharma and Eric Bloom. So yeah, they're getting ready to perform about less than an hour away from where I live here in Iowa, a little town, or a town called Boone, Iowa, on May 25th. See if I can't make that gig. I guess they're touring with Grand Funk. A little funk. Anyway, so yeah, they're still on tour. Their early years, they were known as the Soft White Underbelly. I know, the soft white underbelly. Kind of reminds me of when, like, I'm petting my Chihuahua puppy, and he rolls over on her back, and she wants me to pet her on the tummy, and it's the soft and white, and it's an underbelly. Hey, puppy. Anyway, yeah, their manager at the time was a fella named Sandy Pearlman. He was a huge part of their early image and their early history. He provided them with lyrical content, as he was a poet. He liked a lot of sci-fi and mysticism kind of in his poetry. Also, he scored them major gigs, got them 2 major record contracts, one with Elektra, one with Columbia. So yeah, a big part of their history. He wanted them at first to have some weird stage names: Andy Panda, Buck Dharma, Jesse Python, Laverne, Prince Omega. Obviously the only guy that held on to his nickname was Buck Dharma, which is kind of a cool name, right? Buck Dharma, Buck Dharma. Oh my God, there's Buck Dharma. Anyway, things nearly fell apart early on. In 1968, they recorded an album. Their first lead singer, I think his name was Les Bromstein, he left the band and Elektra shelved the album, so no release-o of the first albumo. So then they had a bad review of a big show they had at the Fillmore East, and so at that point they decided to change from Soft White Underbelly, which is a weird name anyway, to Blue Oyster Cult, which is I think it seems to fit beautifully. So earlier other names were Oaxaca, which is a city in Mexico. Another name they had was Stock Forest Group, and Santos Sisters. Some weird names. But anyway, Blue Oyster Cult. So they finally had a turn of good luck. Producer and jingle writer named David Lucas seen the band perform, liked what he seen, got him some studio time in this warehouse that he had. They were able to put together some demos. Sandy Pearlman got them in with Columbia before Clive Davis. Got the demos to him. Clive liked what he heard and seen and signed the record deal to Columbia. So now with the lineup solidified, the new name, the new record contract, our boys are ready to freaking rock. So they go into the studio, and this takes them into what's called the black and white years. It's from 71 to 75, and you'll see why. This is their debut album right here, Blue Oyster Cult, self-titled record. Artwork by a fella named Bill Golick. Kind of some strange artwork. There's the symbol that would be on all the records from here on out. This featured songs on this would be Then Came the Last Days of May, Stairway to the Stars, and Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll. Great song. They still do that song in concert, by the way. Anyway, sold well. They ended up touring with the Byrds. They toured with Mahavishnu Orchestra, and they toured with Alice Cooper. So, they were getting out there. They had a nice album selling out there. Their sound was becoming more hard rock, more refined, more direct. So then came second record, one known as Tyranny and Mutation. Also artwork by Bill Golick. Quadraphonic, people. Got the quad. We're going down to the quad. We're going streaking down the quad. Anyway, Quadraphonic. Cool artwork here. The symbol there. Look cool on the back. Songs on this where stands out would be The Red and the Black, Hot Rails to Hell, Baby Ice Dog, a song co-written by Patti Smith. They'd go on to have further collabs with Patti Smith too, so just sticking with that New York groove, baby. Check out this inner sleeve. They were a fucking kick-ass live band. So yeah, Tyranny and Mutation, album number 2 in the black and white years. Gonna refer to my notes. Third album, Secret Treaties. Black and white again. A little more sketch stuff here. That is not an autograph, by the way. That is people back in the 60s and 70s. I guess they wanted to make sure no one steal their albums, so they always wrote their names right on the cover. Another Quadraphonic, baby. Going down to the quad. Yeah, the quad. Anyway, great songs on this. Career of Evil, again, another Patti Smith collaboration. Dominance and Submission, another great song that they still do in concert. Astronomy, also based on some of the lyrical content of the poems that Sandy Pearlman wrote. So another successful album, each one selling more copies than the one prior to it. So constant touring led to headlining status. They began to have growing sales, a gold record, and then that led to their more commercially successful years from 75 to 81. They decided to come out, lead off that era with a live record, their first live record of, they've got a few of them. I've shown this one before, but this is On Your Feet or On Your Knees. A double live record with a, hold on here, kind of a cool gatefold there. You still got the imagery, you know, the kind of mystique and mysticism and the symbols, of course, and the executioner reading from the Book of the Damned or whatever. Yeah, great album. Their best album to date, success-wise. Enabled each band member to be able to purchase their own home studio, so that what they also bought them time and money to record their next studio album. So now we got them all, every member putting input into the band as far as songwriting. So yeah, a real great time for our boys in the Cult. Next studio album would be their first one to go platinum. That's Agents of Fortune, a great record. Obviously, this one's the song was Don't Fear the Reaper, but there's some deep cuts on this that are amazing. The Revenge of Vera Gemini, ETI, Extraterrestrial Intelligence, Tattoo Vampire, another gatefold here with the band. I don't know what the deal is with the roulette, but it's cool. So yeah, also you got this, still have the symbolism and obviously the symbol that they use there. This was number 12 on the Billboard chart. Actually, I'm sorry. Don't Fear the Reaper reached number 12 on the Billboard chart. Other cuts I've already talked about. Since all the band members had home studios, all the songs were written in a more individual process, as opposed to getting in the studio and collabing that way. But it was the album. They still had the trademark hard rock, the sinister lyrics. It was a little more conventional, very much more glossy, more produced. Now the tours begin to become this huge creative process. They were one of the first bands back then to start using lasers during their light shows. So yeah, that became a big part. And then they, eventually had the big Godzilla head and stuff. It was amazing. So next studio album, one known as Spectres. Spectres had the big FM radio hit Godzilla. There you go. You got your mysticism. They're all, I don't know if they're sitting around having talking about conjuring up some spell or something, or maybe they're having a seance or some shit. But a little harder to find the symbol. It's in this crystal ball on the floor here. So yeah. Some other great tracks on here are The Golden Age of Leather. Kind of starts off as like a frat song, and then it just kicks into this killer song about like a kind of like an Illuminati type of group that'll, death before dishonor kind of thing. Are You Ready to Rock is on this one. Going Through the Motions was the other hit. So yeah, Spectres. Spectres didn't sell as well as Agents, but You know, less Eric Bloom, a little more Buck Dharma, a little moving away from not so much the mystical stuff, a little more commercial stuff, more polished sound, less gothic. So you see what's happening here. They're kind of getting away from where they should have been. But anyway, after that, another live album. This is a great live record called Some Enchanted Evening. Still in the shrink. Got the nice price sticker here. Got this at Musicland years ago, apparently. Held on to it for all these years. Got your symbol there on the bridle of the horse. Obviously the death rider looking for some souls out in the desert to damn them to hell. This had a cover of Kick Out the Jams on it, MC5 cover, and We've Got to Get Out of this place by the Animals. So yeah, great live record here, very successful live record. Just goes to show you that you know, they had some great studio efforts, but they're still a kick-ass live band, and that just goes to show you that the live album was carrying them from then. Next studio album, Mirrors. Way more produced, glossy, less mysticism, change in producers and management. Sandy Pearlman out. He went to manage the Black Sabbath, and which Tom Werman was chosen to be their producer on this record. There's the symbol there again. He produced the likes of Molly Hatchet, Ted Nugent, Cheap Trick. Also went on to produce albums for Stryper and Motley Crue. So went on to do some, you know, in the metal years. Twisted Sister. Buck Dharma sang lead on about over half of the songs on this. Again, more Buck Dharma, less Eric Bloom, and a less successful record. So they're moving away from their formula, which they should have been concentrating on. But by the way, if anybody knows, that's Eric Bloom, that's Buck Dharma there. So we also had the departure of I take that back. Not yet. I was going to say we had the departure of one of their original guys, but not yet. The next studio album was Cultosaurus Erectus. This is one of my favorite Blue Oyster Cult records right here. Love the cover, love the songs. Black Blade is on this one. The Marshall Plan, Unknown Tongue. This is supposed to be the Cultosaurus Erectus here, and then on the back you've got, you know, some fossilized eggs and a head, fossilized head, and this was supposed to be this is the distant relative of the horn-swooped bungo pony, Cultosaurus, distant cousin. But yeah, Cultosaurus Erectus. This one was produced by Martin Birch, who produced some Dio era Black Sabbath. So got the credentials here, of course. Good reviews. Co-headlining tour with Black Sabbath, the Black and Blue tour. That must have been just a killer show. Would have loved to have seen that. Next album, my favorite of all time, Blue Oyster Cult, Fire of Unknown Origin. Absolutely killer cover. You've now got moving into like an alien type sci-fi imagery. The symbolism's still there. This album has Burning for You, Fire of Unknown Origin, Veteran of Psychic Wars. The content of this record, a lot of it was originally written to be on the heavy metal movie soundtrack. The adult animated feature cult movie They ended up only using 1 or 2 songs off of this record. Veterans of Psychic Wars, and I believe Vengeance the Pact. But this has Joan Crawford has risen from the dead. Oh, this is just a great record. You must get it. You must listen. You must. He's telling you, you must. My voice is gone. Practice last night. Sorry, folks. Anyway, still had the heavy trademark sound throughout, but more of a glossy effort. Many songs were written, like I said, for the soundtrack of the heavy metal soundtrack. At this time, we see one of the original members leaving the band, Albert Burchard, the drummer. He had a falling out with the band. In comes Rick Downey, their lighting tech, he was the band's lighting designer. So, yeah, Rick, or no, let's, what about that drum tech? Can we bring him in? Does he know how to, oh, Rick, you're the lighting designer. Bring in Rick. Yeah, he's going to be our new drummer. You know, he did a good job, though. Came in, kicked ass, fit right in. He's part of the family. He's part of the family. Anyway, Burchard went on to work on a solo project based on Sandy Pearlman's poem Imaginos, which comes into play later in Blue Oyster Cult's history. They went on then to release another live record. This one's BOC ETL, Extraterrestrial Live. Again, we still have the imagery from the sci-fi extraterrestrial imagery, the kick-ass psychedelic spaceman gatefold. We see the spaceship here. We see our heroes from the band here. This has some great content. All their big hits are on this. This was a combination of shows from the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. We also have Philadelphia Coliseum. We've got some stuff recorded in Poughkeepsie, in the Country Club in Reseda, California. So we got a lot of great shows combined into this record. This was amazing. Just my favorite live album of all time right here. So yeah, this is where I'm going to stop, because the rest of the history kind of sees our sales, our albums go downhill, and I don't have all the records yet to complete that part of the history, so I'm gonna cut it right here. But I know this was kind of wham bam, thank you man, but I wanted to get it all in. Wanted to keep it kind of short. I'll be coming back with a vinyl finds video very soon. Got some great records to show you. I received some VCLT I want to show you guys. Yeah, my first VCLT. Woo! So anyway, this is Cosmic Vinyl, aka Brian, and I hope you guys have a great evening tonight, man. Great day tomorrow. Peace be with you guys. Have an awesome day.